And we are live in the studio. We've got Bobby back again. I told you guys I would get him back. We've got him back. We've got some interesting things to talk about. Bear trap or actually bear market. Bobby, how are you doing?
I'm doing great. Glad to be here.
How's your portfolio? I know you want to talk about Monad, which we will talk about at the end. And that was something you called last week, I think. Did pretty well so far. Okay, he can't hear us. I don't know why he didn't reply there. But
No, I can hear you.
okay, did pretty well so far, I said.
Yeah, I mean, my portfolio is looking great.
Okay.
Can't really complain. I've been on cash for about close to 2 months now.
Okay.
Haven't re-entered yet, but I still hold that there's going to be a blow off top.
Okay. And that brings me back to the title of this video. Bear trap or actually a bear market. Because the issue people are having, I was speaking to a guy last night at Parker that joined our 10K fast track, was he sold to cash, shout out to him, but he sold to cash on a 200K loss. So he realized the loss, right? Which is fine. And it's not even his first rodeo. He's been back in crypto since 2012, buying some sketchy stuff on the dark web. But he sold to cash, which was, I would say, unfortunate because, you know, he took a 200K loss rather than just holding the coins down. And he wasn't into bad coins. You know, it was the Bitcoin, it was the XRP, it was the Hedera, it was the Ethereums, it was the Solanas. But now he's having the harsh reality right now is he's sitting on about 100K in cash. He still has the XRP, but it was just tough for him to hold on. That kind of stung a little bit, you know, from him joining, etc. But, you know, we'll see what he wants to do going forward. So I want to talk about, Bobby, can you see my screen as well? And guys at home, these kind of three dips, right? So March 2024, you know, we had this like 33% dip. January 2025 to about April, we also had a, 35% dip. Right now, we're pretty much on the kind of same. What do you think about this, Bobby? Like, it's kind of you being the trader. It's almost mirror perfect here 3 times in a row.
Yeah, I mean, definitely, it's hard to watch, right? Because at this point, and anybody who thinks like, okay, we'll recover that in no time, um, I I hate to say this, but that's likely not going to happen. Now, I guess to my point, it's basically as a trader. I mean, you can be right 50% of the time and wrong 50% of the time, and actually make money.
Mm-hmm.
So I I think it's just being liquidity being hunted at the moment. And as you see, if we actually look at Bitcoin right now, it's actually going back to that 92K level. And that's part of what I wanted to talk about.
Okay, we can talk about that as well. I know you said before as well, the kind of 75K levels, would you be your kind of like last, it's probably over? Is that still correct for you?
Well, no, I mean that's a level to watch for sure,
Mm-hmm.
75K, but it's right now to me it's looking increasingly likely that if we get there and it doesn't hold, I mean we go 60 to 62K next.
Okay.
Unfortunately, right now, the way market makers work, they like to take you up and then take you back down because they want to liquidate both sides, right?
Yeah.
So
I
yeah,
th-
it's as far as where is the future? Well, it's not looking great for Bitcoin because you could make a case that it's actually in a bear market right now.
and that's what a lot of people are making, right? There's a lot of people that we've seen, e.g. that guy that I was just talking about you before, he was like, he's kind of just undecided, right? He sold at that 200K loss and he just didn't know what to do or what to do, right? And that's what people are saying because we have passed that 4-year cycle, right? It is technically past that. People are saying what I've seen on YouTube. Now it's a 5-year cycle. You know, is it going to be the 6-year cycle? Is it then it's going to be the 7-year cycle potentially, right? I think if we do break that 75, it's going to be very hard to come back just in the short term because there's going to be so much panic and fear. You know, the last time we checked the fear and greed index, I think it was 10. It's a little bit better right now because Bitcoin is coming back a little bit, 87, but we just know how fast this can be shaken out. That's just a reality. The toughest thing I think for people, and Bobby, I'm sure you'll agree, is our altcoins. Our Dogecoins. These are just examples. There's many more. Dogecoins hasn't came close to 2021. Our ADA. I know me and Parker were talking about this on Monday. There's a few guys like in ADA haven't came close to that 21. Our Chainlink, like these solid projects, your AVAX, etc., hasn't came close to 2021. Your Ethereum, I know you're not a big fan of Ethereum this run, which is fine, or you don't think it's got much potential, Bobby, but it kind of got close, but it didn't do what we expected, because the way I prepped up for this bull run, you can correct me at home as well, was, okay, we should easily smash 2021, and we'll base our profit-taking strategies off that. But for some of these coins, they haven't came close. Not even anywhere close. What do you think about these OG altcoins that had a great 2021 run? There's many more I could pull up. There's just so many. Do you think there's a fighting chance for, even with you, Bobby, you could say crypto.com, right? That was one of your coins, and still is one of your coins as far as I'm aware, hasn't came close to 21. What do you think the investor should do that is maybe waiting for these prices to get out?
I mean, at least for me right now, I think I told you before, I'm not buying any altcoins, with the exception of just using them for futures trading. But I still believe there's going to be a rotation. It's going to be fast. It's going to be furious. Most people are going to miss it. So even right now, for somebody that's bleeding and bleeding bad, I would basically say, personally, if it was me, I wouldn't sell my altcoins. But I would definitely take a second look. It's okay to cut the losers from your portfolio. And right now, looking back at Bitcoin, like I was saying, there's a gap. It's called a CME gap, right? And for people who don't know what that is, it's basically, I forget what it stands for. Yeah, it's the Chicago Mercantile Exchange. And it's just basically, without making it complicated, it's just basically when the market is closed on the weekends, and then Bitcoin actually trades 24/7. So, Bitcoin never closes. So there's sort of a gap that appears between the price of, futures and spot prices. And a lot of traders, myself included, that gap always goes and gets filled later. And I say always, but it's mostly like 80% of the time the gap gets filled, right? And right now that gap is hovering around 92K BTC. So that's where I believe the price is going. Now, will it stop there, get rejected, and go back down? It's hard to say, but that's where my money would be.
Okay. Definitely say bear market. You guys saying bear market. I want to bring up the Wall Street cheat sheet that I can never pronounce correctly. A lot of YouTubers, including myself, like to always chuck this. And I think it's a nice way to kind of like feel where we are. If I was to ask you guys at home in the comments, or even you, Bobby, like you're probably going to feel different than how like me and some of the guys are feeling that have held our bags, right? You're probably going to feel fine. But just the overall market of Bitcoin, where do you think we are? Like, are we in denial, panic, anger, anxiety? We're not in euphoria. We're not in thrill. We've kind of been there at 125.26. Where do you think we are on this Wall Street sheet?
Well, to be fair, definitely not panic, definitely not denial. I don't think we're in anxiety.
The thing is, for you, I'll just interrupt you there. You've seen so many cycles, right? Not so many, but you've seen a cycle. You've seen the 21. You've got out when people like us and you guys at home probably should have took profits, etc. I'm just thinking about for the guy that, was buying Solana at 250, Ethereum at like 4 point whatever, the kind of like local highs. If we were to put that Jeffrey in your mindset, do you think he's panicking? Is he angry?
Oh, he's definitely panicking.
He's panicking big time, right? He's like, shit, everybody's selling. I need to get out. I wish I could have sold at Euphoria stage at 125.26, but these guys were buying, right? And that's fine. It was their first time getting in the game. And we always say you get in at the price you deserve. But for that guy, I think he's in really, I don't know if he's depressed yet, because it might be the older guy that comes in that bought Bitcoin, okay, with his retirement money and thought we were going to 250, 150 even, making a quick buck. Like that could be his retirement money. That could be his house deposit. It could have been his car loan that he was going to take out a new car, whatever, right? Those guys are fucking depressed, anger, panicking, denial, I would say.
Absolutely. Like I would say there is one exception though. That's our XRP holders. I don't think they're panicking at all.
Why so?
Well, because look, you know I'm not an XRP holder, but I have to give it to them. There is no community like it in crypto. I mean, they have withstood absolutely everything. So let's be honest, no matter what happens, they will, you know, they will go through thick and thin with that coin.
And they have been through thick and thin with this coin. Shout out Q if you're watching this. You know, I don't know what he's doing with his XRP. I know he's had some tribulations with XRP, taking that short or that long that he did at the swimming pool, coming back to his bags and losing his fucking shirt. That's a funny story I remember with Q. And then he had to almost not restart, but like, you know, he was a 50 cents. It was a stable coin forever, right? Let's be honest. It was a 50. It went to 60, 75, came back down for years and years and years. And then you got that massive 6x, 5x, 7x rally, right? And you're almost at these new levels. So XRP guys, mad respect, because they made it. Obviously, if you bought 2017 and you bagtailed, you're not even in profits. But XRP is showing signs that it is here to stay, in my opinion, especially with that lawsuit that they had way back in the days now. It feels like yesterday that happened, but it was years and years and years ago. And XLM's another one that I would say is primarily the same because they typically move the same. And they can just pump or dump faster depending on what way they're going. Yeah, Jeffrey is basically depressed right now. So that was going back to my comment there. Bobby, you are not depressed, right? Because
No.
you're a trader. You've actually, like, you're sitting now and, like, it's almost like you're that guy at the office licking his lips, waiting to put this extra money in, right? Because you get to decide now because you're in so much cash. The guys like us, we've watched a portfolio go down 50, 60, 40, 30%, depending on your altcoins. Those guys are, in my opinion, sort of like, what do we do? And some of the guys, as we've seen, they couldn't take it anymore. You know, like October, I think I said this last time, Bobby, you'll probably know the numbers on this. I said this with Parker. October 10th was like 20 billion in liquidations, right? That is like the biggest in crypto, but biggest in like the whole kind of like ecosystem outside of crypto, as far as I'm aware, right?
Yeah, they took crypto to the meat grinder. I mean, that's for sure.
And then what happens after that is a lot of these hodlers, a lot of these new guys getting in, the Jeffries, as we like to say, they're like, nah, bro, I can't do this anymore. I'm done. And then that's why we were continuously seeing this. And do you think the game now is getting them out, just getting the weak hands just gone before we maybe continue to this next leg up into 2026?
I mean, it's possible. I'll say something else before I forget. Myself, in all honesty, I'm just going to follow the trend from now on because we're all trapped in this mindset of the 4-year cycle, right?
Mm-hmm.
And it's looking more and more likely that's not going to continue the way it was before. But if you just follow the trend of the market, it doesn't matter which way the market's going. And if you follow that, you're going to make a lot more money than just waiting on cycles, counting days. Even though they've been pretty reliable in the past, it's looking likely that this game is changing, and it's definitely getting harder. So just follow the trend.
Yeah. The way I see cryptocurrency now, if you could go back to I was in 21, 2017 was probably the same. I wasn't in it. But 2021, it just felt like, and you were in it, right? It felt like you could buy anything. You know, you had your Memecoin narrative, you had your gaming narrative, you had your, Ethereum coins narrative, you had your, I don't know if you had RWA back then, but you had all these narratives and they would just all fucking pop, bro. It was almost like every single coin that you bought in Q3, Q4, pretty much just was like you almost knew you were going to make money. But now that game is slowly being taken away from us where it's got harder, right? The harsh reality I can see is like, you're not just going to come up and buy any single coin anymore and just pull a 10x, a 3x, a 5x. Now, you've done this with basically Monad, which we can talk about in a second, because you mentioned this last week. A few guys in our community have done this, which has been great. Are you still in this coin, by the way, or did you take profits?
No. I'm still on there.
Okay.
I went into the, I guess you could call it ICO that Coinbase had, and the initial price that they sold was 0.025. So at 5 cents, it would officially be at 2x. And I know that's not impressive for a lot of people that are waiting for the 100x coin, whatever. But I think it's just starting. So I got a futures trade on this, and I'm holding spot. I'm staking at the moment. So just chilling for right now, just because I know, and it may sound bad, but you never forget your first one, right? And this is Coinbase first ICO. So I don't think they're gonna have egg on their face and not defend that 2.5 cent price. So I think it was a pretty safe bet. But as always, never get complacent because the market can always surprise you.
And the market has surprised us, man. Like I wanted to share like a little funny image here on my row. Like this is how, and I'm in this category as well. There's a lot of people saying bear market, bear market. We got some other questions we can come back to you. The guy that's spamming crypto coin 9718, Michael Saylor, is government front plant. You need to calm down, bro. I can see your comments so many times, bro. Just relax. I don't even know what he means there. Tom Lee's, I don't know what that means. But okay, we see your comment. I don't know if we have a point in that comment, do we, Bobby? Because I feel like he's going to keep spamming it until we move on. Michael, do you have a comment on that real quick before I can get into this next point? Blocked. What is he talking
I mean,
about?
I definitely like the nickname for this guy. Blocked. Alex Jones was right. Conspiracy theories are usually always right. That's crazy.
anyways,
But anyway,
anyways,
as
what?
far as Michael Saylor being a plant, it's hard to say. I mean, how do you find out if he's a plant or not? We will eventually
Let's
if
move
it's
on.
true, but
Let's
not
move on.
as you know.
Let's move on.
Okay.
This is what most people think will happen, and this is what I thought would happen, right? It's almost like you're this maxed out character, and we always talk about slaying the dragon, right? When I say that, it's like, Bobby, I don't know if you agree, but like my goal for people in cryptocurrency is not that I can control what you do. I can't even control what I do myself sometimes because I wish I was like him on screen, Bobby, that took profits and I would have been sitting on an extra 500, 600K to even put back in the market, but I've lost that on paper. But my coins are still worth their coins, which I'm kind of okay about. In 2021, it was almost like you were this maxed out character and you could just slay a fucking level 1 dragon. And when I say that, it's really about getting the next level of wealth, right? I'm sure you'll agree, Bobby, yourself, when you first got in cryptocurrency, maybe guys at home, like once you get to that first $100,000, it almost becomes like, it just becomes way easier. You don't have to take as much risk. Like a 2x is like a 2x on 100K. Not that you would put that all in one coin, but you could on just Bitcoin, Ethereum back in the day. It was almost like you could really do fucking damage, right? Because you just made an extra 100 grand, okay, give or take, right? For the guys that have the 3 figures, the 4 figures portfolio, you know, the $1,000, you make a 2, it's like nothing really happens bar from a quick dopamine hit. And $1,000 is a lot of money to some people starting out. Absolutely. So it's really the same. But just when you get to that 6-figure level, I just feel like it starts to get a little bit more easier. It can also get worse as well, because if you put that 6 figures in a bad coin and it goes down 60%, well, you've lost 60
Absolutely.
grand. So it can also go vice versa. But I just feel like, and I think Charlie Munger said this, it's like once you get to your $100,000, you got to do everything you can to get there. You got to save, you got to even use coupons or something like that. I just feel like it gets way, like your story with your first 100 grand, right? And what you have right now, I don't even know how much you have, but do you not just think these trades get easier when you can come in with a little bit more size and a little bit more confidence? Because a 2x and, you know, the 6 figures, the, like, it just makes it way more easier to do damage, in my opinion. Because in an ideal scenario, we would have just bought Bitcoin in 2022 or 2023, right? If we were all multi-millionaires, etc., and we would have been absolutely fine. The problem is we've had to buy altcoins because we're trying to play catch up, right?
Yeah, I mean, absolutely. I always like to use the example that I think 10K is the sweet spot, right? Once you have, let's say you have your first 100K, right? And then you're starting to take bets elsewhere, you can do 10 different bets of 10K and, you know, go for a 2, 3x
Mm-hmm.
on a lot of them. And it's going to be a lot easier than you looking for that 10x, that 15x, that 20x, that 25x. It's possible it could happen, but it's not as likely of playing it safe on a coin that has more liquidity, that there's more, um, narrative and, momentum behind it.
I mean, I just see this comment here. I should get an AEX minimum for my SPX 6000, whatever it's called. That's the kind of shit that we mean, bro. An ATX. I mean, Bobby, you like this coin. You like the guy Murad, whatever his name is, as far as I'm aware.
Murad.
ADX and SPX at these prices?
Yeah, it's not gonna happen.
It's not gonna fucking happen, bro. Sorry, Paul from Australia. We love you. We hope you do well. But this is the exact comment I mean. Like, once you get higher level, and again, it's not like higher level could be 10K. That's absolutely fantastic. But you need an ATX. The difference is he doesn't need an ATX. He doesn't need that. He's already done the work in the real world. You can definitely get there along the way. Like you read that coin. What's it called? We Love Tits, right? This was back in when I really started doing the podcast here. I can just pull that up, guys, if you want. So you can find those gems in the haystack or whatever you want to call it. How much was this X for you? I can't even remember. Is it this one?
That was about that was without that was like a 250X for me.
So they're there, but how much shit in your whole cryptocurrency journey did you have to go through to find one of these? Now, don't say one, don't say two, probably more than 10, right?
It was probably close to 25, 30, if I'm going to be honest.
And that's the issue, right? We've got guys putting on SBs, whatever it's called, and like that could just be their first one. And it's done well. I don't know what your entry is, and it could still do fantastically well. Absolutely great. But if everything's on this trade and it goes south, he's, I would say, a professional trader in my opinion. It's took him 25 to even get better at the game where he's comfortable at a level where he can keep making money from trades. So if you're brand new and you're not looking at charts all day, okay, or at least for a few hours per day, I don't know, man. I don't know. I just think a lot of people get wiped out that way. We've seen it with the Boss coin. We've seen it with so many other coins in our group, right? We've seen it with Jesse coins back in the day. He did a 40x in some other coin. I can't remember. It was an AI project, right? Did a 40 clean X. Next one, shit. 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 There's maybe 30 more, but that's still 40x saved him. And I think that comes with a point here that I wanted to make as well that you said, Bobby. In trading, you can be right half the time and still make money. What does that mean?
I mean, so let's say, for example, you have a $1,000 account, right?
Mm-hmm.
So you start with that, and you can be right 50% of the time, wrong 50% of the time, and still come out ahead. Now, even at that point, let's say 10 trades go right, 10 trades go wrong. At that point, let's say you have a 1-to-2 risk reward ratio. So, on those 10 losing trades altogether, if you're risking 2% of your portfolio, which is close to $20, you lose $200 over those 10 bad trades. But the winning trades, since you're trying to make twice as much as what you're losing, you'll make $800. So towards the end, I mean, you come out ahead, right? That's what I'm trying to say.
Exactly. And I want to finish off my point here. This is what we thought would happen, okay? What actually happened was we were this guy, okay? We were this little nut-knack man with our little wooden sword, and this was actually the dragon of this bull run. And he said, fuck no, your Cardano's not going to all-time high. Your Chainlink's not going to all-time high. Your AVAX isn't getting anywhere close to all-time high. Your XRP, okay, we'll give you that. But everything else, 2020, I mean, H-bar, like, I'll say it safe. H-bar, people keep saying I say that wrong. I think it was you as well, Bobby, fuck's sake. Hasn't came close to my exits. Not even close. I got very close here for my first 20% out, but, I wasn't happy with it. No, I'm still a big believer. I still think this coin, you guys know my story. I've been around this coin for so long. It's just been everybody has that coin that they're okay holding. They set how much they wanted in per coins wise, not dollar value wise. And my whole goal was $1 million way back in the day. And I've just been okay with this, riding this down, riding this up, riding this down. Everybody has that coin. I guess yours would be Rune, Bobby, or Crow, kind of in there with one of them, maybe. Everybody has their coin, right?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, we all have coins that, no matter how much you say, like, yeah, I'm going to sell,
It's hard to sell your
But
baby, man. It's hard to sell
it's
your
it's
baby.
it's. Hey, speaking of babies, I just want to. There's a comment in the chat from, I think it's Megan. I think we know her. I'm not sure.
Oh, we do
But
know
anyway,
her. Yeah.
Baby Tiger. Let's talk about Baby Tiger. Remember that one?
Was this the coin you made? What's the ticker? I want to find it before I tell you my story on Baby Tiger.
So BBT on
BBT.
base.
Why can't I find it? Can you link me it? No, you can't. BBT. Is it on Is it on the other one? Dex.
Yeah, it's on Dex Tools.
Dex Tools. Okay. So
Yeah,
go on.
yeah, that was a painful one, which was basically a coin that was linked to Ethereum, Ethereum price, and there it is, the one with the tiger.
I got you.
Yeah, I still remember this one. And guess what? I mean,
Pull this up.
yeah, if you go much farther,
Okay.
it was crazy up and down until,
When was the Nashville conference?
the one in Nashville was, I think it was on April?
Was it April? So it was
April 20, I think it was it 24?
It can't have been.
I
Because,
can't remember.
No, it can't have been. It doesn't really matter. So Baby Tiger was interested. I refused to buy Baby Tiger. Then me and Bobby and a few other guys from our group, we went to Nashville. It's my first time in the USA. I lost to him in a shooting competition, so I had to forfeit and buy. I think it was $1,000, $2,000. I can't remember how much it was of this coin. And there was another coin as well. I forgot the name, and you and David know what I'm talking about. I want to bring that up as well.
1776.
1776. Why don't you tell your story about you in the lift in that kind of bar? What happened to 1776? Was it this one? I can't even find it, Bobby.
Yeah, so 1776 on Solana.
Okay.
No.
It doesn't matter.
Yeah,
Just tell the story.
Yeah, so we're in Nashville, we're high on endorphins. This coin is pumping. All of a sudden, I just see my buddy David. It almost looked like either his wife left him or something really terrible happened. So just by looking at him, my stomach dropped. I'm like, what happened? And this coin just completely crashed. And we thought there were good people, but there are no good people in crypto, unfortunately.
Yeah, and that goes back to the point before. Like,
And
how
we were,
many...
and I'll just, sorry, I'll just say this. So it was a nice place. We're overlooking the freaking, the bridge. We're having fun, having a drink. Boom, and that's it.
How many, and that just goes back to my point before. How many times have you had to ride some shit ones that haven't paid well, but you do get your 100x, your 80x, like that guy in chat, your 250x, and that can pay for all the losses, right? It can pay for all the absolute losses. So I think it's an interesting point when you do decide to do trading, and this is trading at these tiny market cap coins. This isn't even the trading that you're kind of doing right now, right? It's a completely different game. When you play this game, it's usually the guys that can't afford to lose it, right? It's usually the last $1,000, whatever, and they just can't afford to lose their bag. And what happens is they put in that last $1,000 and they don't understand that it takes 20 to 30, especially if you're starting out, to really find the big winner, but they never get to find the winner. Back when I used to do dropshipping with ecom, it's always the same thing. When I used to do dropshipping ecom, people used to say, and I used to say this as well, and this was the harsh reality, if you were doing like a general store, which you would sell everything, you'd usually have to, guess what, test 20 to 30 products to find your product that would scale you to 100K, right? But a lot of people would come into dropshipping stores, etc., and just test one or two products. They'd spend $10 a day on Facebook ads, $10 a day in Google ads, TikTok ads, whatever, and they would give up because they're like, oh, that $10, fuck, I can't lose that. And they would be so close. You've all seen that thing where the guy's digging for diamonds, right? And he never quite gets there. But it's the guys that keep going, manage their portfolio, manage their risk, manage their whole mindset up here. And eventually they find that diamond, they find that winning product, they find that magical 100x that just gets them back in the game. And all they need to do is just keep digging. I think it's an interesting point because that is the reality of trading some of these coins. It takes a lot of time. You can find your winner on day one. There's always that story. We've seen it in 21. Like, remember that Shiba millionaire? There was the guy that bought Giga Chad. There's always these stories, and it's the same for YouTube. Right? The YouTubers I speak to, it's like, bro, How did this guy make his first video when he got 100K views in his first video? But what they don't realize is they've had hundreds, not hundreds, tens, 20 of other channels before to find the eventual niche and channel that they want to talk about and resonate with to get that 100K views. Because nobody just gets lucky on day one. It's very unlikely. And it's the same with trading. It's the same with everything.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, even with trading, I mean, I've blown my account more times than I can count. And I mean, it just so happens that it can either be really expensive to learn how to trade. Yes, you can get lucky with a trade here and there, but what's more likely? I mean, if you have a plan and you actually don't bet the house, like Crash likes to say. I don't know if you know Crash has a channel called Don't Bet the House. So I'm gonna steal that from him. But yeah, you can definitely get, consistency. Going back to your point, consistency will win every single time. Going back even to the previous example, I mean, you can do 2x leverage on a $1,000 balance, still only risk $20 per trade of your $1,000 starting balance. Keep your risk slash reward to 1 to 2. Basically, you're going to win twice as much as what you can lose. Only win 10 trades, lose 10 trades, and still come out ahead. Because when that's finished, you have a 60% return. You only do 2x leverage, right? Your reward's up, but you're not taking any more risks, right? So if you take a disciplined approach to trading, you'll have that advantage. And I know a lot of people don't want to put the work. Everybody thinks they're just going to get this magical indicator and that's going to solve absolutely everything. But to me, when I actually improved in my trading was when I actually started reading candles, knowing what they were, what liquidity was. That's when you really progress. And then you can use some indicators to help you, but they're not a replacement for actually reading the market from reading the trades. And if you're not just betting everything on one trade, you will do much, much better. But you have to have discipline and you have to take the time to learn because nobody just wakes up one day as a good trader. So, I mean, that's always something to keep in mind.
I agree. I agree. Well said. Well said. I've got some questions as well. I always put a post up in the community post, and I always make sure I have to answer them. We have a few, so I want to run them past you guys at home, and for you as well, Bobby, because same questions. Do you think we're still on for a 2026 bull run? I personally think the crypto top was earlier in 2024, but what do you think?
So, as far as Bitcoin goes, I think we're not going to see a top at least this year. So, that's just it's always keep it in perspective, right? It's a game of probabilities. So, there's always, something can happen. Trump can say something, and then out of nowhere, the Federal Reserve can say, okay, we're going to really cut interest rates down. Maybe they'll start doing QE. They can do a bunch of things. But if you just go on probabilities, I don't think that's going to happen. Now, as far as having a bull run for alts, yeah, it's going to happen for some. I still believe that. I still have conviction in that. Now, when will it happen? Well, that's the $1 million question. But I think if it's going to happen, it's going to be anywhere between now and the first quarter of next year. But
Okay.
right now, it's just looking likely that, we're not going to have a very nice Christmas.
I was just about to say Christmas is cancelled. You guys do, is it tomorrow? You guys do that turkey thing. What is it? Thanksgiving? Is that tomorrow or 2 days from now in my time?
Yeah, it's on Thursday.
What happens on Thanksgiving? I've never heard of this. Like, you get around the table and you cut up a turkey and say congratulations, and then that's it. It's a good day for protein. It's a good day for the guys at the gym in your country getting a lot of protein. But what is the celebration? I don't understand.
I mean, it's to celebrate Thanksgiving. So, um, going back to the story in the States,
Mm-hmm.
in a nutshell, that's when they, if I'm not mistaken, they exchange a meal with the pilgrims and the Indians.
Mm-hmm.
They exchange a meal, so it's sort of giving thanks, from what I understand.
Okay. Well, cryptocurrency isn't going to thank Thanksgiving, and it's probably not going to give you a good Christmas, right? For you, it's give you a good Christmas because you have a lot of cash to buy me a gift, Bobby. You know where I am. I'll be expecting something. I don't have any cash to give you.
Well,
So,
you know what? Sorry, what I will give you,
uh-huh.
I will give you I will give you a new treasure. I order one for myself. I will get you one because you need a new treasure.
You know what I also need? I also need new t-shirts. And when I usually wear tank tops to these, nobody likes them. So I need to buy some t-shirts with, I need to buy some clothes with sleeves on them because nobody likes tank. Oh, there's always two guys in chat that says tank top, fake Rolex. Maybe you need to buy me a real AP because this one's apparently fake.
I think we'd be better served just maybe doing a giveaway for a treasure on the channel here for
We
you.
could do that. We could do a giveaway. So don't give it to me. We'll give it to somebody else. We'll do that. We'll do that. That's a sick idea. We'll sort that out. So we will be giving away our treasure. And that'll maybe help somebody like that maybe has a small portfolio that is in that 3-figure to 4-figure bracket. Because how much is a treasure? Probably a couple $100.
Yeah, it's about 300, I think.
Exactly. So treasures really don't make a lot of sense. And I can understand that if you have $1,000, right? Because would you rather take a little bit more risk? Let's be honest, if you in solid exchanges, Trust Wallet, MetaMask, you should be fine. But that's 30% their bag. It's almost like they put $1,000 in something and it went down 30% just to buy the treasure. So I think that could really help somebody be at home. So Bobby, we appreciate that. We appreciate that.
Yeah, no problem. And I'm
Okay,
actually
go on.
switching because I'm a ledger guy, but I'm just not happy the way they've handled things. So it's time to move.
It's time to move. And that's a good thing about cryptocurrency. You can always move. You can't sell your real estate property tomorrow because guess what? There's so much headaches. And that's why we like crypto. Bobby, question for trading. Roxas77 asks, do you recommend swing trading 10% trades with 10K in a blue chip coin? He says that way you can make 1K in your trades and compound wealth with no automatic stuff, just spot trading.
I mean, it's definitely very, very possible. Using something like, the GG indicator, that's very, very possible. And you take out the risk of liquidation, right? Because one thing that nobody talks about, anytime you do trading, right? Let's say because it depends, right? You can do isolated trading and you could do cross trading, which basically means in the cross mode, you basically risk your entire account balance. So if you do $1,000 and you do cross leverage and the trade goes bad, and let's say you forget to put a stop loss, you can liquidate your whole account, right? In isolated leverage, you basically just risk whatever you want, let's say $100 or $20, and then that's it. That's the only risk that you have. So you take that risk out because people don't talk about the fact that when the prices dip, especially like it did on October 10th, the price, people don't believe me, but the price can blow past your stop loss. And it basically, you think you're going to hit the brakes and the pedal just goes all the way down and the car just keeps going. That's kind of how it is.
Mhm.
So, um, yeah, I mean, swing trading it's a beautiful thing if you know how to do it. And also you get a lifeline, right? Because even if the price doesn't hit your level right away, and let's say it has a correction, you can still hold, become a community member for a little bit, and still get out if the market goes your way and if the trend goes your way, right?
Cool, cool. Is Sui still a buy? We spoke about this so many times, and it's really a question for Parker because Parker's big on Sui. He's told me he's bleeding so hard. It just depends on your perspective, man. The interesting thing that we have with Sui is we don't have a 2021 run, right? It was almost like the way I looked at Sui is like the potential what Solana did in 21 with the gains, and it definitely made you a lot of money. The hardest part for people in Sui is maybe they bought at 5, or maybe they bought around about August, September, or whatever, October at 4s. So Sui is a great buy, and this goes for any single coin that you believe in within reason. Again, you always build that diversified portfolio. If you liked Sui at $3.60, and this is what I did with HBAR, right? I liked it. All I could really do was see it go down, and that was where I could DC a lot lower and really build my, this, Bobby, and guys know this at home. You could build your average cost way down, right? Because if my average cost in HBAR was still 14 cents, well, guess what? It would still be worth the absolute same that it is today, right? But because I brought mine down,
Sure. Just ask.
why is Siri talking to me on this other computer? All that to say is, Siri just went up on this computer, bro. You get to bring up down your average entry, right? So if you bought Sui at the highs, okay, and as far as I'm aware, nothing's changed on the project. They're only getting better, as far as I can see. Just the prices went down, right? So what has theoretically changed for the worse there, bar the price? Because there's probably a day down the line, if Bitcoin does recover, which it will eventually, that Sui gets its run. Do you want to buy it at 4, 5, 350, or do you want to buy it at 150? Because when you buy it at 150, yes, it can go down to 1. It can go back to the 70 cents levels when Jesse from our group back in the day was ripping the crap out of this in Turbo Finance with his liquidity pools. It can go back there. But it's a lot better buying here and DCing all the way back down than buying at 5. Because if you buy at 5, if you buy at 3, if you buy at 4, you really have to ride this up way past probably what it's worth in a blow off top scenario than what it's worth than when you buy at 1, when you buy at 130, when you buy at 70. You know, and that goes for any single coin. It should be exciting when stuff gets cheap. It's nervous, it's scary, because you go back to this chart and you see all this stuff, but nobody makes money in euphoria. Nobody makes money in thrill. You make the money down here in solid projects. So if Sui is a solid project for you, that's what you can do. And if you don't like that, you're never going to make money in cryptocurrency. You have to hodl through some pain. Some guys can't sell. Like me, when Bobby told us to sell, we never sold. Because I'm like, oh, it could go up a little bit higher. I don't know. But that's what I would say on any single coins, to be honest. Yeah, no robe with Parker with his cowboy hat, Megan. You know, he pulled up with a cowboy hat one day and his robe. I'm just... yeah, loading up in H-bar, 5 to 10 cents range. What about you? I mean, I already have my goal, which, like I said before, was $1 million. But if we do get those prices again, and let's just add some cash, and there's nothing else that makes sense for me at that time, I might start to buy it again. But again, my portfolio in H-bar might be too heavy, so it might be too much risk. Although it could make me way more money if I was to buy a Sui. But if that happens, I'll be looking to top up other plays that I believe in. That could even be Ethereum. That could even be Bitcoin. I know Parker bought some Bitcoin recently at 83K or something around then. That could be stuff like that. But the problem is, you know, if we do go down lower, I've always been happy with how many coins I had, to be honest. Yeah, there was another question I had for you, Bobby, as well. It was the last one here. Where was it? Where was it? In fact, it's not a question for you. I have to answer this question. This guy always types crazy. It's all about loading up what the lazy Jeffries are going to be aping in. Jake, can you look at Wojak and some other coins? We'll look at one of those coins. He's listed like 20 million coins. Bobby, Wojak, have you heard of this?
I've heard of the character, but no, I think Wojak, I think it was a very old one. One of the OG meme coins.
That's us right now, guys, on screen. That's us. We thought we were going to be this guy. This guy kind of fucked us a little bit on his Trump coin and his wife's coin. But right now, we're this guy. You go to the ATM, cash out requested, denied. Internet money is not from currency. Please get a job. Thank you. And this is us right now at Thanksgiving, 2 days, and at Christmas. Okay, that's the reality. And this is probably the guys trading. And this is where we're going in the future. Okay. Wojak itself on the chart, Bobby, it's the last 1 week is up 270%.
Yeah, I'm trying to think. How long has this been around?
It's been around on CoinMarketCap. It's not obviously going to be exact since November 25.
Okay, so this must be it must be a new take on this.
It's a new one. It's less than 1 month old.
I mean, it's a risky meme coin. It could do well, but then you could also lose everything if you're happy with that and you want to take a chance. I'm not saying buy this, but I mean it's a meme coin. Yeah, it is fun though.
The issue is I don't want to say this can't keep running because again it's still a 34 million market cap, so it's still fucking early days to the potential. Like what did We Love Tits get to market cap wise? Do you remember roughly? Was it $1 billion or was it more?
I think it was about 350 to 400 million.
Okay, so almost halfway. Like if you got to those kind of returns, there's still a 10x off there, but you have to remember how many guys were buying this early enough where they don't need that 10x. They've already done the 50x. So just keep in mind, maybe a lot of sellers there. You are buying, if we go back to this chart, you are buying euphoria kind of throw phase with this coin in particular. Let's be honest. Look at the big spike this has had in 2 days. It's already done a 10x in like 2 days, whatever, but it's done like a 50 or 5,000, whatever percent it has since less than a month. So that's just something you have to keep in mind with these coins. Because again, it can be very early on in this project where this coin could rug. We always talk about that final boss coin. How long was that out for? 2 to 3 days. Everybody bought that euphoria stage back on that chart, and everybody read it all the way back down. And that guy with the $1,000, he lost it all.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, if I only had $1,000 and I wanted to take a chance, I'd rather throw $1,000 on Monad, to be honest, instead of throwing on a high risk meme coin. And guess what? Maybe it's not going to have that return. It's probably it will probably never do that 50x or 25x that you're looking for, right? But I don't see a world where we don't at least see a 10x out of Monad, right? So it's I don't know. If I was down to my last $1,000 and I had to restart, I would probably do that and go for the safer place. Hey, you got a 3-5x, just what we spoke last time. I think somebody commented, I forget who it was, you have to adjust your expectations.
Yep. This cycle has been about getting kicked in the face. Run My Crypto, shout at you, brother. I remember you back in the days. I don't know if you're still posting YouTube videos. Hopefully you are. I think you were a big Jasmy holder. I don't know how it's been. But that's what this cycle's been around. Altcoins, most of the guys should have just bought Bitcoin. Let's be honest. Unfortunately, there's been winners. There will continue to be winners, like Zcash, for example. There's going against the curves right now. DeFi question. When your position falls out of range, do you pull it and rebalance, or do you let it ride and wait it to come back? It completely depends. If there was a specific coin question, I can give you a better answer. But what we typically tell our guys in our group, let's say you have a Solana render pool or, I don't know, an XRP Bitcoin pool, and it comes out of range. Again, the whole goal with pools, the way we run them, pools. Did I say pills again there, Bobby? People keep saying I say pills, bro. I'm fucking sick.
I'm sorry. You did, yeah.
Pools. I need to take a speaking class. Anyways, your whole goal, if you have two assets, right, is to get yield, right? So if you have an Ethereum and an XRP one, that most of our guys that have these assets in our group, you can find it on VFAT, they ride this quite a lot. Guess what? You're collecting Ethereum, you're collecting XRP. You're not really worried about the price short term. In fact, we tell guys that, if Ethereum and XRP are going down, which they are, it should get you a little bit more excited because you're buying cheaper Ethereum for free, right? And you're buying XRP for free. And you probably had these assets before, you started our group or just going around your DeFi journey yourself. So you already had them anyway. So there's not any risk there. The issue comes, and that's the question you asked, what do you do when you come out of range? We always tell our guys, at least what I do, and tell our guys, Parker's a little bit different, but I tell them just to wait, 5 to 7 days. Let's say you come out of range a little bit, and you should have a wide enough range, because the problem with coming out of range, in a nutshell, is your pool is now not doing the justification of the pool, right? E.g., you're not earning any fees. So you think of this as a real estate property. You're not just going to buy a house and not put a tenant in there. Let's be honest. Why would you not want that little cash flow, right? You can bank on it for appreciation. That's fine. But you want to be getting paid cash flow to at least pay off the mortgage and some more if you're doing it correctly. This is the same situation. If your tenant leaves for whatever reason, okay, well, what are you going to do? You're going to try and get another tenant to get back in there. The issue with real estate is it can take a long time. Maybe he wrecked the place. Maybe he brought the dog in and there's fucking teared up carpets. There's pee on the floor. That's where the real estate game kind of let's get a little bit messy. The way we run these is, you get to decide what you want to do. There's no mess. You just have to decide, do we wait a little bit longer or do we maybe readjust our range? I always say all that to say is give it 5 to 7 days and it'll probably come back in range, especially if the assets are correlated. If you can find assets that correlate well, it's not going to be 100% exact, and you set a wide enough range where you're not going for 1,000% APY because you're going to be out of range all the time. And we always say go for 6 to 10% per month, which would, be around 70 to 120%. That should give you a wide enough range where if one of the assets does fall, you should still be in range. But if it does fall out of range, all that to say is just wait 5 to 7 days. I just like full control. Okay. You can rebalance if you want, but then you have to swap assets and you might get more Ethereum or more XRP than you actually wanted. That's when it can get messy. And that's why we always say track Track how much Ethereum did you have when you started the pool? How much XRP did you have? Don't look at the dollar value in the market going down because that doesn't really matter. How much of each asset did you have? And your whole goal, in my opinion, is to get more Ethereum and more XRP. If you can do that, you're winning. If you can't do that, your pool is probably too tight of a range, or it's in an asset that isn't correlated. Okay? So that's what I would say. A long answer. How to buy liquidity pools. You don't buy liquidity pools. You have two assets. You pull up to VFAT, for example, and you already have the coins. $10 donation, bro. That might be our biggest donation in the game. Bobby, I'm buying you a Christmas present with that. Thanks for taking the time to answer my question. Enjoy the vids. I've learned a lot. Didn't ask a question. Thank you, Stripe DK. What a good question. Thank you, brother. I appreciate you. Bobby, we've got 9 minutes left. Okay. We've already talked about your main points here. What I will say is you did post this in our group. There's staking available. And apparently, I've lost it. Apparently, Parker, I've copied the same one twice. What an idiot. There's staking available, right?
Yeah.
Can you give them some more information?
Basically, I mean, if you plan to hold for a while, I mean, that's a nice way to just, passively earn. I know it's not a alien concept for people, but you can either do that, you can eat.
Ignore me, I'm replying to chat.
Okay.
That's it? You were supposed to keep going.
Oh no, I mean you pulled up something else. I mean, you can do pulls as well if you want, but if you just want to do simply, hodl it, why not get 14%? I mean, lockup period I think is about 4 hours. So it's definitely not bad. I mean, might as well. I'm pretty bullish on this, to be fair. And I don't see why we don't get a 10x. There's always going to be that outlier out every cycle. And we've already seen that. You can, Zcash, it didn't matter what the market was doing. Zcash was doing whatever the F it wanted, right?
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
So I don't know. Go and check out the ecosystem. If you like it, take a chance. It's very rare that you have an ecosystem launching and everything is ready from the get-go. Go on CoinMarketCap, look up Monad, and take a look at the ecosystem. And if it makes sense for you, I'm not telling you to buy it, but if it makes sense for you, take a chance if you want.
Cool. So again, post this here. If you have that, you can use Rabbi, MetaMask, even Phantom. And again, we always show receipts, man. We're not just going to tell you like that we're not doing this in real time, right? There's receipts here of Bobby actually doing this. He called it, and here's him doing it in real time, 15.48%. So you can do it that way. The other way, this must be brand new. Parker just posted this in our group 3 hours ago. So there's apparently a wrapped version. That's what WMON is, I'm guessing, versus USDC. It's 160% wide range, which is very fucking wide. The only issue with that is, for me, it's against stablecoins. So again, if Monad really does rip, even on 160%, believe it or not, you could still come out of range on the top side. But if it chills around for a little bit, 160%, giving you 250% APR, which is 20% per month, which is crazy, and a 1,400% APR pool. So there is pools as well, it looks like. I don't know if that's on VFA or that you said before this, maybe, what's it called, Uniswap. So you can have a look at that if you guys want it as well. Or you can just do the lazy, easy way like Bobby's doing. Not the lazy way, that's rude, but the easy way where you can make an extra 15% where you don't have to worry about ranges. 15% so far. Lockup period's 1 hour, but it could come close to 4 hours at the moment. So you guys get to decide. There's opportunities out there for Monad. Again, we're not telling you to buy this. This is just something that he mentioned last week, and it did well on launch, and now he's taking advantage of that. Again, 15%. Parker's been a little bit more riskier, but no risk, no high APR, as they say. So there's that option for you guys at home.
So there's a question in the chat, like, Bobby, are you lending your cash pool out for yield? So, I mean, I don't just let my USDC sit around, right? You can go on Aave, you can get some yield there. I'm actually using a platform on Stellar. It's called Blend. Mm-hmm. And I'm actually getting on that cash, on that USDC, I think I'm getting close to 13 or 14% on the cash right now. So while I wait and see what I want to deploy into, it's not a bad way to do it. And I'll just say one thing before I forget. So even I do have some limit orders already placed, right? I'm expecting Bitcoin to go down. I don't know if it's going to happen now or when, but I do have some limit orders filled, right? And I know I made a post before, but I'm looking at that 75K level, and I'm looking at the 62K to 60K. So it's not a bad idea for me, in my case, to leave those orders open, because who's to say that we're not going to wick there, right? So even for some of the people who didn't do great, guess what? I mean, there's still, if you believe in Bitcoin long term, which I do, that's probably where I'm going to port my full portfolio. Whenever we hit, hit these levels.
Yep. There's a question here. Why didn't we sell at 126? Well, you did, right? You basically 124,
Well,
125.
to be fair, I didn't sell at the exact top. I think I sold around 118.
I mean,
You know,
who cares, Bobby?
no, I do care because you can't always say like, oh, I sold the very top, because everybody that says that is BSing you. Or everybody who told you they bought the exact bottom, they're usually BSing you. A lot of these big accounts, they'll go back, they'll delete their posts just so that, they can look like everybody that wants to look like an oracle. But it's better to just be factual and say like, okay, no, it wasn't the very top. I got a little close, but yeah, I also wish, when I did my short, I wish I didn't close it so early, but I did. But you just have to take your trades and set your risk/reward, and don't be afraid to take profits. I honestly think it's 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 sort of a psychological step that you have to take the first time you hit that sell button. It changes something in you.
I would like to know because I've not hit the sell button in 5 years, basically, for most of my coins. The last thing that I think hits home with what you just said here, don't invest what you can't afford to lose this year. And that could also be don't trade with what you can't afford to lose this year. Don't use leverage trade on 50x, 25x leverage, what you can't afford to do unless you know the game. We are heading deeper down. Just be smart. My buddy lost his wife the last bear cycle. I don't know if that means she died. I'm guessing it doesn't. If it did, RIP, I'm guessing it's because she left. Well, if she did leave and you have a wife like that, it's probably a good reason, because if she was only there with you for the money, like what the F? Maybe a few Christmases, or this Christmas and this Thanksgiving, when your wife gets a shitty Christmas present because we're down 50, 60% on our bags, maybe there's going to be a few more guys that lose their wife again this Christmas. I don't know. She left. Okay, good. She didn't die. She left. Well, good. She left. Okay. Well,
Yeah, you're probably much better off.
You're
I'm
way better
sorry
off.
for you.
You're way better off.
I hate to sound like a Disney movie, but things happen for a reason.
Things happen for a reason. So if she's not with you through the thick and the thin of it when you're struggling, and she's just there for that Gucci handbag, you're probably for the better off. Most guys' wives only like the guys with money. That's not true, bro. My ex-girlfriend was with me through the thick and thin of it. I was at minus $2,000 after the Celsius crash, and she brought me a fucking YouTube course because I wanted to go all in on YouTube. But that's not true, bro. That's not true at all. It's only true if you're with the wrong girl. So we're not here to talk about wives, etc. You want people that ride or die. I'm sure, Bobby, if you lost your shit, you'd still be fine in your relationship. Right?
Oh, 100%.
Yeah. So you guys don't want to be getting rich, finding gold diggers, and then realize that they're only there for the money. You could if you want, but that's just probably not a happy lifestyle because she constantly is just going to drain you. So yeah. We're out of time. Great stream. 2 secs, Isaac. Don't end it off yet. Thank you, Bobby, for being here. Thank you, Bobby, for donating the treasure that we will sort out in your Christmas time. Thank you, guys, for being here. We just got a quick super chat there. Where's Render going this cycle? Fuck. Do we have time? 2 secs, Isaac. We're going to answer this one because he gave us $2 and we need to answer the Render question. Render was a solid project. We get this one all the time. It's almost becoming like Sui. It's just bleeding against everything else. I do think it's going to do well this cycle. I don't think it's going to go to $100 like many people were saying before. I think it's going to be fine. Just Bitcoin needs to recover. Anyways, goodbye. Thank you, Bobby. I'll see you guys tomorrow with Parker. Thank you, Isaac. End the stream. Peace and goodbye.